Hello there, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whatever time you're watching this, it's good to see you. It's Conor, I'm back into another episode of the Carpool. Just figured to jump on because it's a little bit of a slow week in the build up to the Scottish Cup final, so I figured I'd come on, give my 2 cents, look at, Trophy Day last week and look forward, to the game this weekend against Aberdeen in the Scottish Cup final, which I'm sure we're all looking forward to. I know I certainly am. But before we get on to that, remember, do all the good stuff while you're here. Hit the subscribe button down below. You can see it on the ticker tape down at the bottom there. Give us a like. Share the bus far and wide with your friends and family. Be sure to become a Bhoycie Bus member for the low fee of £1.99 a month. And also go into piesports.com, our sponsors for the show, and use code BUS1880 at the checkout if you want 12.5% off your order of tasty pastry treats. Also, please guys, remember we've got a competition running now where you can win a pack of Bhoycie Bus stickers. There they are on screen there for you. So we're running a little competition. If you are or if you become a Bhoycie Bus member, you'll be entered in a competition to win a pack of Bhoycie Bus stickers, and you can stick them wherever you want, far and wide, and bars and Santa Ponza, along the Celtic Way, whatever you want to do with them. But all you need to do is become a Bhoycie Bus member if you want to be entered in the competition, or if you're currently a Bhoycie Bus member, you will also be entered in the pool for the sticker competition, and that'll be done in a few weeks' time. And we'll announce the winners on the show, and we'll get your details and send them out to you. Sweet. But yeah, before we get into the nitty gritty, I wanted to say massive shout out and congratulations to ex Celtic manager Ange Postecoglou on winning the Europa League title last night with Spurs. Um, I did say on the bus before he'd win a European trophy. I did say it. I was just a little bit wrong saying he would win it with Celtic as long as he was here, but I'll take the credit for being half right. And I'm incredibly proud to see, a guy who gave us two incredibly, you know, good seasons and unforgettable memories go on down south and win something of note, and do it with a team like Spurs, who if people think Rangers are in a trophy drought, not just look at Spurs' trophy cabinet, and he's went down there, shut the English media up, and all the critics and that, and I'm just incredibly happy, for him to go and do that. It's not easy, with the way he had it, with being to a team who are as allergic to trophy like silverware as Tottenham, and the mentality they more than likely had, and the fact they had so many injuries and he was getting his name dragged through the muck. Rightly so, because the league form was terrible this season, even though last season they did pretty well. But this season, league form was absolutely terrible for them. But I am happy that he shut a hell of a lot of people up. And in a roundabout way, it kind of reflects well on us as well, because people think, oh, you could go up to Scotland and come down here and, that Mickey Mouse League and win anything, come down here and fail. Well, he's just shown if you're a good manager in Scotland, you can go down and, succeed in England as well. It kind of, has a bit of a positive shine on certain aspects of our game, at least our club, in a way. The guy's a born winner, so, he's went and won everywhere he's been. So, I'm happy for Big Ange. Good on you, man. But yeah, I think we'll look back to Trophy Day. I'll go over it kind of quick, because it's kind of been there, done that. But obviously the game itself was, not a vintage Celtic Trophy Day performance, to say the least. Um, you know, uh, I do think that it was probably just a little bit of, capitulation, and we're over the line, who cares kind of attitude, maybe, um, for that being the reason that they didn't get the best result, and going out there and doing what we're used to Celtic doing, and putting on a good show, and a high scoring, free flowing game on Trophy Day. It was a bit of a damp squib for most of the game. Obviously, St Mirren taking the lead in the first half. And we then, go into the second half and, played a little better in the second half. Try really hard to get that goal. And when it just so happened to fall to the one man on the pitch who we all wanted to score, and that was James Forrest, who scored in his 16th consecutive season at Celtic. Now, that is just an absolutely incredible figure, and I don't think it can be understated how monumental, the legacy that James Forrest will have at Celtic. I think he does go, underrated by a lot of the Celtic support, including myself. But you look at what he did last season, he is one of the persons, including Adam Ida, you know, he showed up and pushed us over that line to get that title in the bag. And to this day, he still, performs very well and has not a negative thing, said about him by any press or in the media or in the management. His mentality, I think, is incredible. A very, very humble individual who puts the jerseys first and puts the fans first, puts the club first ahead of any, personal glory. Because you could see that in the game. He was trying to actually pass and link the play and not be selfish as he probably should have been. He probably could have gotten the goal even earlier, if he, wasn't trying to be such a consummate professional. But that's the kind of person James Forrest is. And I do enjoy the fact that it happened right at the death. And you would be, mistaken thinking that was a league winning, goal at the end there, with the reaction in the stadium was just, absolutely insanity. The roof blew off the place because of how much, it means to him and the Celtic support and just cheering the guy on. Guy came through the academy. He's been playing since he was 16 years old for the first team. He's been there, seen it, done it all, got the t-shirts and came back, and he's still to this day putting in very, very good solid performances for Celtic. I would not be against him starting against Aberdeen this weekend. When he was playing, he was ripping the absolute arse out of Graham Shinnie the previous game he played Aberdeen, and when he came on, he was doing the exact same thing at the weekend there. I think he's still got it in the bag. He's still got a good bit of pace about him, even though he's maybe lost a bit of yard of pace. His balls in the box were fucking fantastic. His crossing's brilliant. His feet are still, magnificent. And he's not shy to take a shot as well. He's very good, at taking shots and scoring goals as well. You've seen that throughout the entire course of his career. And I'm just so happy for him, to be rewarded, in the final day of the season when we're all celebrating winning the league, to be rewarded with a goal in his 16th consecutive season, and to be currently Celtic's most decorated player ever in their history. And, it is a really, really nice bow on top, of this season. I think, obviously, Scottish Cup's still to play for, but we'll get on to that in a wee minute. But yeah, I think it's very, very heartwarming. And, it's like people say there's a fairy tale about the club, and it's just something that we can all, get behind and just say it puts a smile on your face, despite the fact that we never got the win. We got a draw against, a side like St Mirren, who we probably should be seeing, away with, especially on, Trophy Day. I just think that it was a good end to the league campaign, and a fitting end to what's been an unparalleled successful league season, at Celtic. But yeah, I think moving on from that, because there wasn't really much to talk about, and the game previously, let's be totally honest, it was a bit of a no-show. But Scottish Cup final this Saturday against Aberdeen, and like the title says, Celtic preparing to put the sheep to the slaughter in the Scottish Cup final, because I think we can all kind of, not to get too ahead of ourselves, right? Not to get too ahead of ourselves, but that is, on the cards. That is on the cards. Seeing Celtic put 4, 5, 6 past Aberdeen this season, is not out the realms of possibility. It is well within our grasp to do that. You look at the league form of the two teams. Aberdeen, granted, at the start of the season, a very, very good start. They were very, very confident. But Jimmy Talline comes in midway through the season, like, he changes everything up. He had a really good start, and he fell off a bit after Celtic put 6 past him in the League Cup. He then decides the team who were playing for him was 4 players mainly, and we're at the back. He's changed the entire back line of the team, and he's put Graham Shinnie at left back rather than put him in the middle of the park where he's most effective. This guy's a fucking fraud. Like, I keep saying it. I keep saying it every time we go to play Aberdeen. Jimmy Talline is an absolute fraud. He's went in and brought in all these fucking Scandinavians into the team. They don't know what the fuck they're doing. They can't play the system. They can't play in Scottish football. They don't know what it's like to play for a club like Aberdeen, the size of Aberdeen. and the pressure and expectancy that comes with playing at a club for Aberdeen, who should be pushing for third every single season. Aberdeen were in a better position than Hibs. Hibs and Hearts, respectively, they were going to be relegated at the start of the season. Hibs are now comfortably third, and Aberdeen are what, fifth? They're behind Dundee United now. It's ridiculous, the fall off they've had. I've never seen anything like it. It's genuinely baffling. I think most of the games they've won were in the first half of the season. They've hardly won a game since after Christmas. It's embarrassing. And Celtic should be going into this cup final looking to make a statement victory, looking to make it a famous day in history. Remember when we scurried Aberdeen 7-0 in the Scottish Cup final to win another treble? That's the mentality we should be going into this game with. We should be going in fully confident. And I'm not trying to be like Mr. Bravado and all that, but the writing's been on the wall for a while. You look at, we put out the fucking B team and absolutely scurried them, made them look amateurish. First team starting at the weekend, maybe a couple of changes here and there, actually, wouldn't be against it. I think there's only one kind of, there's only one outcome on the cards, let's be fair, as a Celtic victory. I do believe that, it's not overly, self-indulgent to say that we are the best team in the country and we have been by a country mile, and we've shown that time and time again, and we should be going into this Scottish Cup final receiving, the confidence of that, and the pat on the back. That is a fantastic league campaign, along with the League Cup, and going into expecting to win the Scottish Cup. The Scottish Cup's our trophy, as well as the league. It's the one we've won the most, out of the league. We've won most Scottish Cups than anybody in the league. And it is just a topper of all time moment, I think, winning the Scottish Cup. It's the oldest trophy in the world. As the cherry on top, the perfect, green and white Sunday, the husband, this domestic campaign this year, and to go in there and put in an absolute killer performance and do that against Aberdeen, and just lift that Scottish Cup with Callum McGregor, James Forrest, Alistair Johnston, guys like that, Dyson Maida, Kuhn, guys who have had fantastic seasons. Kasper Schmeichel, I think it's well deserved, and it's. I generally can't actually discuss like what I think Aberdeen will do, because I generally don't think they've got a chance now. And that's that I could have massive egg on my face, come Saturday night. Let's be honest, I don't think it's gonna happen. Could you see it happening? Could Aberdeen fans out there even see it happening? They actually can't. Even they don't have the confidence in their own team to go and get, a result in a one-off game against Celtic, for a bit of silverware. It's quite embarrassing. I would rather play any other team. Like, I would rather play St Mirren or like Ross County or Dundee United or Hibs or Rangers, because they would give us a game. Any one of those other teams, I think, would give us a better game in this upcoming Saturday than what Aberdeen are going to do. I think it's going to look like amateur hour from them, and I think Celtic are going to just, cruise to victory. And I'm being very like, self-aggrandising the Celtic and bigging us up and putting us on that totem pole, because we fucking deserve it. We've done it, all year. We've done it in the league. We've done it in Europe this season as well. Been much better than what we have been over the last decade. And special, shout outs to guys like Brendan Rodgers who, have shut the media up, who were singing the praises of Fleet come on at the start of the season, giving, all the accolades to Barry Ferguson, even though the league had already been sealed, because he got a couple of results, and one against Celtic. And it's probably been quite easy for him to maybe try and bite back and try, but he's held his tongue. He's been the consummate professional, been the guy to lead Celtic out and take us, to glory this season. And, I'm very, very happy for him. And, he's going to stay another season. We'll see what happens then. I do think that we'll probably win the league next season. Don't know if we'll win a treble next season, right enough. I think we probably will get pushed on those fronts in terms of going for the cups. I feel like guys like Hibs and probably Rangers as well, even though they like to admit it, will probably give us quite a close push for the cups next season. But I do think next season we'll probably win the league, and I do think that at the end of the day, if that is what happens, and Rodgers seen his contract and those talks, but get him a new contract in as well. But if he does see it out and he does decide to, right, okay, I can move on now, he walks away a Celtic legend for me. And and people like still call him the snake in the grass and all that because he would have done. But you can move on, you can forgive him, you forget. I think we as Catholics and as Celtic fans and all the rest of it can forgive thy neighbour and all that, all the rest of that shit, and just thank him for everything he's done and coming back and steadying the ship. Because when Ange left, which he was fucking well within his rights to do. People have this mad hate boner for Ange because he decided to leave, he was quoting Tony Burns and that. Like, what the fuck was he meant to say? Was he meant to just say, fucking, I'm going to go and put a shrimp in the bar, maybe, and fucking just, no, of course you're going to quote the club and, make it all about the club and that, and, play to the gallery. That's what you fucking do as a winning manager. They all do it. But when he left, we were kind of high and dry. We're like, shit, who do we get now? We've just, off the back of 2 great seasons, and we could see a lot of progression. Where do we go now? And then Rodgers came back, and and he wasn't, in the good graces of a large majority of the sport. And he came back, and he's, healed the wound essentially that was there from when he left, and he's got himself back in the good graces, I think, of 99.9% of the Celtic support, and we all love him for it. And he would go next season if he decides that's his last season. I think he goes with my good graces, and I think he goes with a lot of other people's as well. But yeah, looking ahead to the Scottish Cup final prediction time, I think it'll probably more than likely be an absolute hammering. And Celtic are going to win 6-1. And the scorers will be Dyson Maida, Nicholas Kuhn, Adam Ida, James Forrest, and Callum McGregor. Somebody will probably get a brace in there somewhere. But yeah, that'll probably be my, prediction for that. It's a very, very short one this week, guys. I do apologise. There's not much I've really got to go on in terms of talking about stuff. It's kind of been quite quiet in the media in terms of, even transfers and stuff like that and contract talks. So there's nothing even there I could, discuss because there's absolutely nothing on that front really. I thought I'd just come on here and talk about the game last week. Looking forward to the Scottish Cup final this weekend. And, hopefully my prediction comes to pass because, I feel like I've been not bad on the predictions this season, besides maybe the ones in the derbies, but who gives a fuck? Won the league anyway. But yeah, I do hope you've enjoyed, guys. Please don't forget down below, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, comment your thoughts down below. What's your prediction for the game on Saturday? How do you feel about James Forrest? Do you think he goes in the annals of Celtic history as a legend? Do you still think he's, for whatever reason, he's maybe not reached that level yet? How do you feel about Brendan Rodgers this season and, him staying another season? Would you want him to stay after that? Would you want him to go? Let me know in the comments down below. Don't forget to share the bus as well. Shares, likes, subscriptions, all that, they help us massively on the show. So, if you're feeling generous, you can also become a Bhoycie Bus member for the low fee of $1.99 a month. Go to piesports.com, bus 1888 in the checkout, 12.5% off your order. Don't forget, you're entered in the competition for these sticker packs if you are a Bhoycie Bus member. If you want to be entered in the competition, become a Bhoycie Bus member, and in a few weeks' time, we will announce the winners. So, members only for that competition there. But anyway, guys, it's been great talking to you. I'm going to get ready for work. But I will see you all sometime next week, hopefully, and we'll discuss, hopefully, another resounding victory and Celtic lifting another Scottish Cup to seal the treble. But anyway, guys, I'll see you later. Have a good one this weekend. Be safe. Enjoy the game. And I'll see you all next time.